Remember when buying a home in the United States was an attainable goal, and now it's more like folklore told around campfires and at high school reunions? Welcome to the new version of the American dream, where you could work 3 jobs, skip lunch, and still can't afford a starter home unless it's actually a 1973 cargo van parked behind a Walmart. Today we're talking about the states where homeownership has gone from white picket fence to white flag of surrender. These are the places where property taxes hit harder than that laxative you forgot about until you got stuck in traffic, home prices that make you wonder if Zillow's become a satire site, and the housing inventory is lower than Congress's approval rating. So sit down, get your rosary beads, and let's count down the 10 states where you'll need divine intervention, billionaire parents, or a very creative GoFundMe to ever own a home. Let's take a look. Number 10, Wisconsin. Being a homeowner in Wisconsin means accepting that your property taxes cost more than your car, your groceries, and your will to live. You'll spend half the year shoveling snow and the other half pretending you enjoy cheese-related festivals because it distracts you from the tax bill taped to your refrigerator. Your lawn will be buried for 8 months, so don't worry about landscaping. Nature already canceled that. So why is it getting impossible to buy a home in Wisconsin? Wisconsin doesn't have the California prices, but it does have this sneaky little combo of rising home values, stubbornly low inventory, and property taxes that greet you like a toll booth operator with an evil agenda.
Give me your money, I need a Starbucks.
You'll show up and think, hey, I can afford this. Then Wisconsin replies with, that's adorable. Give me $7,000. The money math. The typical home is in the low 300s, normally between $318,000 and $328,000. That's currently in late 2025, which is totally manageable until the property taxes show up with 1.51%. They might as well send you a little note that says, hope you weren't planning on vacationing ever again. The inventory technically improved in 2025, but only in the way that getting 2 fries at the bottom of a McDonald's bag is an improvement. Now they have this thing for realtors where they say, what's the housing supply? Okay, so they judge a market by the housing supply, which means how long would it take you to sell every single house on the market right now in whatever area. 6 months is considered perfect. Anything below that is sort of bad unless you're a seller. In the metro areas of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Madison, La Crosse, and the Green Bay area are all sitting at about 3 to 4 months. The rural areas are about even with 5.5 to 6, so that's not bad. It's the metro areas kind of suck if you're a buyer. Number 9, Nebraska. Owning some real estate in Nebraska is basically like having a permanent roommate. The property tax. It never pays rent, eats all the snacks, and keeps going up for no reason whatsoever. As you stare at corn most of the year, you start thinking, maybe I should just move into a grain silo. Now, Nebraska is one of those 3 Midwest states that everyone thinks should just be one. Not everyone, but it's hard to tell the difference if you're an outsider from Nebraska, Kansas, and Iowa. They all seem the same. I know the people that live in those states have a different point of view, but I'm sure if you came up to Washington and Oregon, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Or Vermont and New Hampshire. Why it's getting impossible. Nebraska isn't glamorous. It's not on HGTV. No one's flipping barns into luxury spas. But the tax bite and the tight housing supply team up like it's 2 bullies ready to shove first-time buyers into the locker. Here's the money math. A typical home in Nebraska goes between $268,000 and $272,000. That's the average home value for the state. That's not awful. And then you notice that it's got a 1.44% property tax rate, which lands it in the top 10 most expensive of the country. To give you an idea how bad that is, there are some states that have effective property tax rates of 0.36% in Alabama, 0.44% in Nevada. And of course, the king of low effective property tax is Hawaii with 0.26%. Omaha and the surrounding areas have about a 2-month supply of homes, which is realtor speak for if you blink, the house is gone. Listings go up, then vanish like your paycheck at Costco. Every 2025 update so far has said the same thing, basically. More buyers than homes, so good luck out there. Now, what it feels like to be in Nebraska trying to buy a home. Nebraska advertises itself as reasonable homes and a reasonable life. What you actually get are bidding wars, property taxes that refuse to take a day off, and closings that happen so fast you're basically expected to move in during the seller's breakfast. Number 8, Vermont. Being a homeowner in Vermont means your house is adorable, Instagrammable, and just expensive enough to make you cry once a month. Your heating bill will personally attack you every winter, and your property taxes act like they're charging admission to your yard. But hey, at least your friends will think you're living in a rom-com from the early 2000s, even though you're actually Googling how to chop firewood without getting hurt. Yeah, the rom-com thing is incredible. In the early 2000s, it seemed like every single romantic comedy movie was based in New England, where some ordinary girl met a ex-underwear model guy and they live happily ever after in their little Vermont small town. When in reality, if you ever watch Chevy Chase's Funny Farm, I'm sure it's a little closer to that. If you haven't watched that movie, it is comedy gold. Watch it. So why is it getting impossible in Vermont? Vermont became trendy the second millennials realized that they could post a picture of a barn and a maple tree and get 500 likes. Really, I think that's why they've become a little more trendy these days. It's that lifestyle. Great small towns, beautiful nature, no traffic. You know, all the things city dwellers have been dreaming about since the first day they ever got stuck in traffic. Here's the money math. The typical home sits around $400,000 and the taxes are a beefy 1.56%. Even when prices dipped a little in 2025, the savings were barely noticeable. Yeah, even though it's a popular place to move to and a lot of people are really thinking about it, it dropped 2% last year. But it's still next to impossible to buy there. Inventory. Vermont has had a housing shortage for so long, it's basically become a statewide tradition. New construction moves slower than a teenager after you ask them to do something for you. Inventory did go up a tiny bit in 2025, but not that much. So basically, if you want to move here and buy some real estate, it's going to run you at least $400,000 just to get the house. Then you'll get raked over the coals for taxes by the state, and then you'll either chop wood all winter or pay some pretty high utilities. Number 7, New Hampshire. Congratulations, you bought a house in New Hampshire. Now enjoy paying through the nose in property taxes because the state decided income tax were overrated. Gotta get that money somewhere. Every time politicians brag about tax freedom, you'll stare at your bill and whisper, cool, but explain this. So why is it getting impossible in New Hampshire? New Hampshire is basically played musical chairs, except the chairs cost $500,000 and the music is just people sighing about interest rates. Now here's the math. The typical home is about $502,000. And unlike Vermont, they're going up, 2.5 last year alone. Taxes sit around 1.61%. So yeah, no income tax, but extremely high property taxes. So how's their inventory? Inventory is still way below what experts call balanced. Realtors say the number of homes for sale hasn't looked normal since the early 2010s. Prices keep sprinting ahead of incomes. So unless you invented a new career and brought it to New Hampshire with you, it's going to be kind of hard. I am the leader of the free world when it comes to forgotten subscriptions. I watch a lot of movies, have a lot of streaming services. I have far too many software subscriptions too, which I switch up every now and then when I find something I think is better. My biggest problem is forgetting to cancel the one that I actually just replaced. I had audio recording software I was paying for that I hadn't used in 2 years. I could have snagged another camera for that kind of cash. Let's be honest, there's no such thing as too many cameras, only not enough shelf space. That won't be happening again thanks to today's sponsor, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is an easy-to-use app that helps you save more and manage your money better. Besides finding and canceling subscriptions, I love using Rocket Money to lower my bills. Rocket Money will automatically scan your bills and find you savings. With just a couple taps, Rocket Money can help negotiate your bills for you, from internet to cable and phone bills. No need to worry about customer service calls. Let the app's negotiators go to work for you and try and get you the best possible rate. This, of course, will help you save money. Rocket Money has helped its customers save up to $740 a year when they use all the app's premium features. They've also helped customers save over $880 million in canceled subscriptions. Take control of your finances today. Go to rocketmoney.com/Briggs to get started for free. So you could save more, spend less, and join over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/Briggs or click the link in the description to get started for free. Back to the video. Number 6, Texas. In Texas, getting a house is easy. Surviving the insurance bill, that's the real rodeo. You move in thinking you've scored a deal, then the property taxes show up wearing boots and ask if you can also cover the school district, the fire department, and maybe a few roads. So why is it getting impossible in Texas? Texas isn't the most expensive state, but its property taxes and insurance bills show up like they're trying to win an award. One minute you're looking at affordable houses, the next you're staring at an insurance quote that screams, "Surprise!" Now, one good thing about Texas is it's still one of the cheaper popular states. There are states that are cheaper, like way cheaper, but there are also states that aren't as big and not as popular. Everyone sees that price tag and they move to Texas, and it's been going on for quite some time, but since it's gotten more popular, it's also gotten more expensive. Here's the money math. A typical home value in Texas is about $299,000. Taxes, they sit around 1.47%. Not the worst numbers ever, but when you put it together with the insurance costs, it feels like paying rent on a house that you supposedly own. The different metro areas are all over the place. Some have too many homes, some look like construction deserts. So you got to pick and choose your metro area. Hopefully your new job or wherever you've decided to move is one of the ones that has too many homes. Number 5, Illinois. Illinois has never showed up on one of those most moved to states lists. They're just not one of those places. Chicago, yeah, people still move there until recent years when it started reversing course. But for the most part, you never hear of anyone deciding they're going to move to Illinois. I often encourage it because they have a lot of smaller towns that are just amazing. If you stay away from East St. Louis, Rockford, and Southside Chicago, it's a pretty nice place to live. Recently, I had someone correct me because I said Terre Haute was in Indiana, which it is, and they swore up and down that it was in Illinois. I asked them very simply, "Do you know how to use Google?" They deleted their comment and sent me a nasty email. But owning a home in Illinois means your property taxes are higher than your home value emotionally. You can explain the tax bills to friends like it's a tragic backstory. Meanwhile, your house is cute, your neighborhood is fine, and your taxes are training for the Olympics. So why is it getting impossible? Imagine earning Midwest wages but paying coastal level property taxes. That's Illinois for you. Home prices look friendly until you remember the tax bill is lurking behind them like a horror movie villain. Here's the money math. Typical home value here is about $278,000. Property taxes are around 1.95%, battling New Jersey for the highest in the nation. Sometimes municipalities put their own on top of that, so it could go all the way up to like 2.07%. When you look at the entire state, there's plenty of homes to buy, but in the places you want to buy, there's really not a lot. The good news is, so many people are leaving Chicago right now, they might be freeing up a whole lot of real estate for people to buy. But do you want to? Number 4, Connecticut. Buying a home in Connecticut is basically joining a secret club where the initiation fee is your entire savings. You'll go to meetings, zoning hearings, that last longer than your last relationship. Your taxes are high, your house is pretty, and every neighbor has an opinion about your mailbox. So why is it getting impossible to buy in Connecticut? Connecticut has high prices, high taxes, low construction, and zoning rules that feel like a puzzle with missing pieces. It's charming in the way that the very complicated crossword puzzle is charming. Here's the money math. Homes go for around $430,000. Now, this one comes with a little bit of an asterisk. Connecticut has some of the most expensive neighborhoods and small towns in the United States. So that really raises up their average. But you could find some of the not so great small towns that have homes going for under $300,000. But you get what you pay for. I mean, you get a little bit of an increase on the average in every state because of, let's say, some expensive neighborhoods or towns. But Connecticut's kind of an extreme with that situation. Their taxes hover around 1.78%. Not as bad as Illinois or New Jersey, but definitely enough to make you reconsider buying furniture. Now, their inventory, they've got about a 2-month supply statewide. Zoning fights last longer than some marriages. Trying to build anything triggers debates, hearings, and at least one Facebook group with a dramatic name. Number 3, New York. Being a homeowner in New York means accepting that half your life is now spent sending documents to people whose job titles sound made up. You'll sign forms you don't understand, pay fees that appear out of nowhere, and deal with property taxes that act like they're auditioning for Broadway. Owning a home here is basically a part-time job with no benefits. So why is it getting impossible? New York has high taxes, high prices, and enough red tape to knit a sweater. You can actually earn a college degree faster than it takes a co-op co-op board to approve you. Here's the money math. New York City homes run around 800,000 and up. And when I say up, I mean way up. And that's just New York City, so that really affects the average. Sort of like Connecticut. Now, statewide, the average home value is $505,000. And that's up 3.8% from last year. Co-ops can drag out closing for months. Inventory is historically low. Fees appear out of nowhere, like side quests you didn't sign up for. Number 2, New Jersey. Homeownership in New Jersey is like dating someone gorgeous who also steals your wallet. You get beaches, great schools, and trains to New York City. But the property tax bill hits you like a grown man tripping over a Lego. Every year you'll hear politicians argue over tax relief, and every year your bill whispers, "Not for you, buddy." But hey, at least you can see the Manhattan skyline, right? You gotta stand on your roof on a stepladder, but you'll see it. So why is it getting impossible? New Jersey is the undefeated heavyweight champion of property taxes, and it acts like it. Prices are high, inventory is tight, and closing costs are a thing of nightmares. Here's the money math. The typical home value in New Jersey is $564,000. Their property taxes are 2.08%. Some municipalities, it's going to be a little bit higher. That's not a tax bill, that's a lifestyle change. Their inventory, with New York City spillover demand, half the buyers are going to show up with cash. Zoning battles keep getting weird, supply is sticky, demand is constant, and the spreadsheet hates you. All right, before we get to number 1, if you're thinking about moving to any one of these states, there is a link in the description area for a website called Home and Money. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, California. Owning a home in California is a sense of pride because you've been through a lot to get it. 1, you came into a serious amount of money to start things off. 2nd, you beat someone out in a bidding war and somehow blocked out 14 cash buyers. You outmaneuvered a tech bro and didn't faint during the inspection. Congratulations, you now enjoy insurance premiums the size of a car payment, utility delays that feel mythological, and property taxes that politely say, "Thank you for your soul." The good news is, it's easier to act like things are okay in sunny weather versus cloudy weather. So why is it getting impossible? California still wins the most stressful housing market award by a mile. Prices are high, inventory is low, and the building process always has a plot twist. Here's the money math. The average home value sits around $760,000. In cities like San Jose or San Francisco, try $1.5 million. Prop 13 helps existing owners, but new buyers walk straight into a buzzsaw. If you don't know, Proposition 13 happened in the 1970s, and that basically said the state just can't raise your property taxes whenever they feel like it. So the effective property tax in California is only 0.68%, which is outstanding. It's just so expensive, and there's so much red tape and such a big housing shortage, it's next to impossible to buy a home there. The reason the homes are so expensive in California? The weather and some people can't afford it. California is where you go when you want to make money. California and New York City, basically. They have a terrible cost of living and their housing prices are insane, but the incomes that people make in this state far outweigh that in some cases. Trust me, if nobody could afford a house in San Jose, the prices will drop. But those people up there can afford it, and a lot of them without a problem. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, be nice to each other.